Plastered. Destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico
For 5 years running. It's the OD and the AM with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Bond.
And then sometimes the best teams are the champions. Not always. We watch all the time, and the best team doesn't always win. The best team throughout the season doesn't always win, but that's why we have a postseason in most sports. And sometimes the best team is the champion. That's what happened in college basketball on the men's side and the ladies' side. South Carolina finishes an undefeated season on Sunday night or Sunday afternoon. And then last night, UConn wins their second straight NCAA men's basketball championship, 75-60, in pretty dominating fashion over Purdue. Good morning and Merry Tuesday to you. College hoop season is now over. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck, UConn's champions. How you living?
What it do?
You good?
Good.
Pretty dominant, huh?
UConn is men's college basketball right now. They've established themselves as the it program. What they've done is historic. And we will look back in 15, 20 years. If a team can ever get close to this again to win back-to-back titles, they are on that list. Just so dominant from start to finish. What they do on the floor, both ends, frustrating a great college basketball player in Zach Edey, who had the quietest 37 points. If there was such thing as garbage time points in basketball, that was Zach Edey last night, because UConn did him dirty.
Well, they have 37 to their 62, so he didn't get a whole lot of help. I impressed with the game plan and how they shut down a team that was really good. And when you look outside of Zach Edey and say, okay, the rest of that team scored 23 points. That's it. They shot 44%, 14.3% from three-point land. They only took 7 shots. They have a 7'4" guy in the middle, and you out-rebounded him by 35-28. And took them out of what they do. And to your point, I think the right word was frustrated. I thought what UConn did to them is what they did to everybody in this tournament. And when y'all laughed at, they beat San Diego State by 30, and then they beat Illinois by 25, and then they beat – this is what they did. This is who they are. And you decide what dynastic means, what a dynasty is. But Danny Hurley said it after the game last night, their coach. He said, we, meaning UConn, have owned college basketball. And they have won 6 championships in the last 25 years. A quarter of a century, they have won 6. That is what almost 25%? I mean, the 25% would be 6 and 24, right? Or that'd be 20. Yeah, 25%. Yeah. That'd be a quarter. I mean, damn near a quarter of the time in the century. And I know 99 is outside of the century. They've been winning championships. And so that's why I wasn't surprised when he was asked about the Kentucky job afterwards. He laughed at it and said, my wife, I'm thinking about 3 more than I'm thinking about going to Kentucky. Because why? Because they are it. Why would he leave something that he had a big hand in building, and you can give me all the blue bloods you want, you can give me all the history, and you can go back to Adolph Rupp all you want. But living in the present, there is no better program than Connecticut.
All the past does is hurt you in the present. There is very few places where the past benefits anything. it just hurts you because it sets unrealistic expectations. Good is not good enough. And what fans remember is just that it's a memory. And it doesn't always mean that's what the present and or future is going to be. So if I'm Dan Hurley, absolutely. At Kentucky, that's cool. You got a lot of history. What happened 70 years ago means nothing to me today. What's your NIL like?
What did you win now?
Things like that.
What's your record?
You're a banner from whenever means nothing.
Well, 10 years ago or whatever it was, right? I mean, Calipari was there 15 years. He won one. Went to Final Fours. I'm not telling you that's a garbage program. I'm not.
No, it's not a garbage program. But I think what it's fascinating is like history is great for fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are 17 years old, when you are a coach trying to recruit players NIL, be like, hey, look, we have banners. That means nothing, man.
That's really cute. No, that's great. I agree with you. And by the way, they have banners. They have banners, and their banners are newer.
has plenty if they want to point them out.
Yeah, and they're newer. They're newer. They don't have as much dust on them. They're from this year. They're from last year. They've got 6 of them in the last 25 years when some of these guys were alive. As opposed to, look what Adolph Rupp did. Look what Rick Pitino did. Look what, right? It's a whole different world. It just is. And everybody's won there except for Billy Gillespie. And I understand that. And I'm not telling you it's a bad job at Kentucky. What I'm telling you is, and I think what Danny Hurley realizes, he's got a better job. He's in a better place.
You want to tell me about UConn's history, Kentucky's history? Well, I just made history at UConn.
Yeah, I am.
And you can keep it rolling. And for UConn, you look at it too, they've done it every single way. Recruit, develop. When you're paying players under the table, now you're paying players
over the table.
Everything. They've done it. They've won.
Yeah. No, I look, I'm not, there's nothing to argue about. And Dan Hurley said it. And I think we all thought that. The only reason would have been money. The only reason would be money. And I don't know what Dan Hurley's making. I'm sure we can find an estimate somewhere. What's Danny Hurley making? And that's all great. But at some point, and I asked my mom this a long time ago, I've asked a lot of people this. What is your sanity worth? Where are you happiest? Dan Hurley right now is reportedly making $5 million a year. He got a new contract up to $5 million a year. It goes through 2029. I'm going to guess he's going to get a little bump now, right?
It shows you just how prominent and important Kentucky is in college basketball that the coach of a back-to-back national champion was still asked about the job.
Yep. No, that's right.
So, yes, it matters, but this is one, if I'm Dan Hurley, I'm saying unless you give me, the biggest contract ever in college athletics, I don't need to pick up that phone and have that conversation.
And what if they say, all right, we will?
And I say, then I would absolutely consider it.
Okay. So they come to you and say, look, here's 10, you're making $5, we're going to give you $10 million a year. Because I don't put it past them, right? I think they got the money. And Kentucky basketball means that much. And look, everybody's got a number. But I think, okay, so he's out. And you know what? Next segment, let's get into the Kentucky coaching thing. Because there's a lot there. I got a bunch on last night. Zach Edey scored 37 and had 10 and was frustrated. I thought the first 5 to 7 minutes of the second half were really what defined it. Klingon played a great game defensively on him. Everybody they threw at him, they frustrated him, and you could see everything that JJ's been saying as far as why Zach Edey is limited as an NBA post player.
And I don't like this conversation because I don't think it's fair, and it takes away from how good Zach Edey was. Zach Edey was absolutely one of the most dominant players, not just of the last 2 years, but of an era of basketball. And Zach Edey missed a lot of shots he was making all tournament long. A lot of shots that didn't have anything to do with just clinging on him. He was getting inside. He was leaving them short.
Yep.
He was missing at the rim.
Yep.
He was trying to go strong.
Yep.
And if that was the first time you watched Zach Edey, you came away with, I think, a bad taste in your mouth, even with the dude scoring 37 points. But that was the classic, all right, do whatever you want because the rest of the guys are not good enough to beat us.
And he still shot 15 for 25, which is still a pretty good percentage, although it was all right at the rim, 7 to 10. He had 10 rebounds, 7 to 10 at the free throw line. He had to be better than 37 points because, to your point, the rest of that team was not good enough.
I don't think
This
there was anything else he could have done.
Let me tell you something. This is very akin to Caitlin Clark. Very different kinds of players, right? Zach Edey was really good, and now different to me. Caitlin Clark was the best player on the floor, or maybe she wasn't. Maybe Cardoso was better that day. Zach Edey was not the best player on the floor last night. He just wasn't.
And the difference is, Caitlin Clark can create. Zach Edey, he passes out of the post, but it's limited the actions that you get.
100%.
And so that's what the athleticism on the perimeter was just different.
Yep.
For UConn, and the way they shut down Purdue looks small on the perimeter.
Yep.
Against the Huskies.
And I told you I love me some Tristan Newton, right? I've been telling you that, and he was the second year in a row, player of the year or player of the tournament or MOP, most outstanding player. Burgess High School in El Paso, Texas. They can have the argument if down there who's the best player to come out of El Paso. Aaron Jones, his cousin, the running back for the Packers. Where did he just sign with? The Raiders?
Aaron Jones.
Who did he sign with?
Is the Minnesota Vikings.
That's where the Vikings. Yeah, but all these years now, the Packers running back, they played musical chairs this year. Burgess High School. Do you know he's averaged 37.2 points a game in his senior year at high school, Burgess High School?
I think Tristan Newton is becoming that dude for El Paso.
He's become that dude. They're really proud of him, and from this region, and he took over. I thought he controlled the tempo. I told you going in. I'll turn. I love his game, and he was the player of the tournament. They were just better. This is a case where, and it happened on the women's side too. A better team won, and on the women's side, Caitlin Clark was the attraction, and you can argue she was the best player on the floor. Okay. Or maybe she wasn't. But her rest of her team wasn't good enough to beat that team on the other side. And that's what happened last night. Zach Edey is the player of the year in college basketball. Did he already win the Naismith? Did they announce it yet? I mean, he was at the top of my ballot. He was. And he had an outstanding career. And JJ, there's nothing wrong. And we'll see what kind of pro he is. And he will get a shot at the NBA. I do believe that body, somebody's going to say, I can do something with that. And we'll see. Maybe not be first round, whatever, but I think he's going to get a shot. But whatever happens, there's nothing wrong with being a great college player. And I go back to, how many football players, and we always go to quarterbacks, right? But how many great college players were there that weren't great pros? But still, man, there's nothing wrong with it. I think of Tim Tebow. I think of Kellen Moore. There's countless of them, right? That were really good college players. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and it's something that it gets in the conversation. We just get so hyper focused, and it gets smashed together. And so a lot of players that if they're not good in the pros, then you forget what kind of college career they had. Zach Edey solidified himself as a fantastic college player. He's a unique prospect. We can have that conversation moving forward about what he does in the NBA. I think it's a much smaller role, but you look at the dude. He played 39 minutes. He gets up and down the floor. You don't have to worry about him, tiring out instantly. And it was just a great game plan from the Huskies. They realized that they can overwhelm everyone else. Purdue was 1 of 7 from 3. They couldn't get shots off from the perimeter.
I think that was key. All right, we got a lot to do today. 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animals phone line and text line. Jump in today. Get in early at 505-246-0610. Emails Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com, JJ at sportsanimалabq.com. On the Twitter, it's _JJ Buck, or that would now be called the X, I imagine, if that's what you prefer, because, well, that's what they call themselves. And you can watch the show on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. Adrian's producing the visuals. It's also on Comcast, channel 26, and on the YouTube channel for ProView Networks. Coming up today, 8:30, I'm looking forward to talking to Charlie Min, former sportscaster over at Channel 13, but turned filmmaker. He's got a documentary coming out called Nightmare. And did you watch the trailer on it? Pretty good. On Diego Sanchez. And it's coming out this week, and Charlie's going to be with us to talk about that and some films he's making. Coming up at 9 o'clock, Kenny Thomas will be here. We will kick it with Kenny, talk about the tournament and the final week of the NBA season, which we now turn our attention to. And Kenny will probably want to talk about the Masters as well, I'm going to guess, being the golfer that he is. So get in now at 505-246-0610. When we come back, so now what? So college basketball season is over, but it's not. I still got a bunch more thoughts on what UConn is, what the ladies' number was, and the Kentucky job, because I think stuff's going to start moving now that stuff has started to move, if that makes sense. We'll get into that next. Springtime. It's tax time. So what are you going to do with that tax refund? I suggest maybe taking part of that refund and calling On the Spot Automotive Detailing and taking care of one of your biggest investments, your vehicle. On the Spot Automotive Detailing has paint protection and ceramic coating services that are a must if you want to preserve the look of your vehicle. That means no more scratches, no more mud, dirt, water stains, and their layer of protection helps to prevent UV oxidation damage from the intense sun this summer. They were awarded Best in the City because they are the best at what they do. They're reliable. They're efficient when it comes to protecting your car. They will come to you, hence on the spot, and detail your vehicle. That new car feel without having to go out and get a new car. On the Spot Automotive Detailing, you can book and buy online. It's at otsdetailing.com, otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet? Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
Burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. and my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
All right, so UConn celebrating back-to-back titles. Are they the best program? I don't even think it's arguable. Is that a better job than Kentucky? Is a better job? Yeah, you know why? Because dude went in there and made it that. Jim Calhoun made it a really good job. Kevin Ollie won there. And Dan Hurley just went in there and just continued to win and made it his. He took what was built before him, and he made it his. He established himself as one of the best, if not the best coach. Who's the best coach in college basketball right now? I said to you right now, you go to the legends, do you go Izzo, do you go Self, do you go Mick Cronin, or do you go the guy who's just won 2 in a row? It's really hard to argue against the guy who just won 2 in a row, isn't it?
I think that's the key word right now. That can be a changing power ranking because you have Tom Izzo, Bill Self,
Pitino,
Rick Pitino, Rick Barnes, like guys that have been there, done that, but in the moment,
Drew.
You look at Dan Hurley, Nate Oates, guys that gone on runs that are doing it right now. So I absolutely think when you say the best coach in college basketball, that's a different conversation. There's the been there, done that legends, and in the moment right now, Dan Hurley has a program that's clicking on all cylinders in this era of college basketball, which everyone is so uncertain about. No one knows what the future's holding. He's just out there winning basketball games.
Yeah, I think all that's right. And because he went out and did this. He went out and made this happen. And it's his work. And it's really, really, really hard to sit around and say, well, yeah, Izzo, well, long-term, yeah, I think it's 2 different conversations. In long-term or right now. And the best program right now is UConn. And the answer, I don't even think it's arguable. Now, you may tell me I'd rather go to Duke or I'd rather, UCLA and academics and okay, in history. They've won 6 of the last 25, man. Since 1999, they've won 6 of them with 3 different coaches. That's a hell of a program. It's a hell of a program. And they've just won 2 in a row. And by the way, as dominant as anybody's ever won it. As dominant as it's ever been done. So when the question was asked afterwards, well, coach, there's other jobs out there. What do you think? Are you thinking? I mean, he was asked about Kentucky, and he laughed at it. Oh my God, Kentucky or anywhere that's going to take my wife? He says, ask my wife, Andrea. Anything that's going to take her further from New Jersey? I mean, we just to Rhode Island, which I had to drag her to, and then Connecticut, I got her closer. Now further, I can't afford a divorce right now, too. I just started making money. It's not, but again, no means no usually. No means no usually. I don't know how much money he's making UConn can throw at him. And if Kentucky comes and says, I don't know, coach, I mean, what's $9-10 million sound like to you? You're making 5. UConn could say, well, we can cobble together 7. I don't know. He said no. Nate Oates, JJ, the coach at Alabama, said no. He's staying at Alabama. Can you imagine an Alabama basketball coach saying no to Kentucky? That would be like a Kentucky football coach saying no to Alabama, isn't it? I mean, what if it's which Stoops is there? Mark Stoops at Kentucky?
And I've seen a lot of people joke. Mark Stoops has the best job in college football
because nobody
he
cares.
Gets the SEC money.
Yeah,
and all everyone cares about is basketball.
No. But what if he turned down Alabama? Right? It's kind of the same thing to me. The Alabama basketball coach evidently said no to Kentucky. It would be like the Kentucky football coach saying no to Alabama. But that's where things are right now. And that's in large part, and JJ, I firmly believe this. Now, you may tell me I'm wrong. But I firmly believe that's in large part because of what that fan base has created there. the monster that's created. You just said something in the last segment, which is really, really interesting. Nothing good comes out of the past, or would you say the past? How'd you phrase that?
Well, all the past does is hurt you in the present and future.
Okay.
Because you have unrealistic expectations. Now, I'm fine with expectations because that's how fan bases can hold anyone accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we should do this based on resources A, B, and C. Why are we not getting D out of this? But a lot of times, the history you're holding on to is too far in the past where, yeah, that's your memory as a fan. That's what helped build you as a fan. It means nothing to what's occurring today. And there's a lot of places like that it hurts you more than it helps you, because everyone wants to say, you know, the history, this or that. Well, that doesn't matter to an 18-year-old who's coming in, thinking about NIL money, this or that, you know, in 1974, you had an awesome season.
And that's what I'm kind of going, you know, to the fan base of what they've created there. And is that why guys like Nate Oates are saying, "No, man, I'm good. I'm good. I'm staying where I am." You know, who else is going to do it? At what point do they get to Rick Pitino? Is he coming up next? Evidently, they've gone.
Well,
to
you wonder
Wright.
too what Kentucky is. Is it an immediate? Hey, this is what John Calipari is making, so you're going to be making this.
Well, it's going to be in that ballpark.
Or do they get?
If they're
would they
gonna
get
lure-
Nate Oates to $6-7 million, or do they just hand him the John Calipari contract? Which, to me, that would, for a lot of these guys, be super intriguing because you know Cal's sitting there $8.5 million.
Yeah, I think it's
Base
going to be in that
salary.
ballpark to lure someone away. You know, Scott Drew's really interesting. It sounds like they really want Scott Drew. Jay Wright on TV said no. Dan Hurley said no yesterday. Evidently, Nate Oates said no. Sean, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hey, Sean.
Hey, good morning, guys. So, you know, 2 years in a row, and I don't know about you guys, and you know, if you win, you get to talk smack, you get to be cocky, you get to be all that, but I just find Dan Hurley to be just insufferable to watch. He's extremely cocky. He's holding up the 6 like you won all 6 for him. Right. I don't know. I kind of find him annoying. Quick question, though. Who was the last team to beat UConn in the tournament?
New Mexico State.
Okay, thank you so much. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, see you. Aggie fan living on that one, huh? Aggie fan loves that one. And they own it until someone else beat them. Because New Mexico State is the last team to beat UConn in the NCAA tournament.
That might be something to put on a banner.
At least a temporary banner, so that can hang in the Pan Am Center. I mean,
Last
never
team
mind.
to beat UConn in the NCAA tournament.
Never mind what's happened since. Never mind what's happened.
Don't look behind this curtain. Look at that banner.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. The last team to beat Connecticut in the NCAA tournament was New Mexico State. That is correct. And then the next game, do you remember who beat them? It was Eric Musselman in Arkansas. And they played a pretty good game. But yeah, it was New Mexico State and Teddy Buckets. Remember that game? Teddy Buckets went bonkers in that game. Yeah, it was a really good game. That got Jans paid. He's making $2.6 million right now.
The SEC money.
Yeah, that got Chris Jans paid. All right, 505-246-0610. 8 o'clock, we're going to hear Jamal Mashburn Sr. He was on Jim Rome yesterday. What he had to say about watching his son grow up and where his son may end up. Jamal Jr., of course, in the transfer portal. 8:30, Charlie Minn's going to be here, the filmmaker, and we're going to talk about the Diego Sanchez movie, that Nightmare that is coming out. Kenny Thomas at 9 o'clock. When we come back, what do you got?
I just want to throw this out there real quick.
Yeah.
So when you look at UConn,
yeah,
you know, 2020, 2021 season, they lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament to Maryland. The 21-22 season, they lose in the first round to New Mexico State.
Yeah.
They didn't fire their coach.
And they kept their coach.
Brought him back and just won back-to-back national titles.
Yeah.
Just an intriguing thought process.
You know, and that wasn't lost on me. Because how many fan bases, and probably that one at that point, were saying,
especially after losing to New Mexico State.
Yeah.
That's it's Kentucky. It's why they jettisoned John Calipari. Like, we just lost a double-digit seed to Oakland.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And that was back-to-back first-round exits.
Yeah. Maryland's one thing. Maryland's one thing. New Mexico State, I think it was a 13-4 game, if I'm not mistaken. Right? That was one of those good New Mexico State teams. That was one of those dominant WAC champion New Mexico State teams.
12-5 game.
12-5, even different. New Mexico's, but to your point, and I think this is a lesson for whomever needs a lesson. They stayed with their coach. They didn't blow him out because they lost in the trial. Oh, you can't win the big one. You don't know how to win. And he came back and has not lost in the NCAA tournament since and been freaking dominant in the NCAA tournament. Has won 12 in a row in the NCAA tournament and just hung 2 banners. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. When we come back, a lot of legislation in the college space, trans athletes, transfers. We will discuss it when we come back next on the opening drive.
Concrete doesn't have to be gray or...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here. And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Miss it?
Yep. Kind of an overblown tradition, I think. I was honestly, Jalen House got a good run in there. Jalen House's dad got a run in there. A little disappointed.
Honestly, it just might make me cry too much just because college basketball is over.
Yep.
I'm going to miss it.
You love you some college basketball. I do too. Text line says, did someone mention the team the Lobos capital letters swept and own? Question mark. Yeah, somebody did. Yeah, they mentioned New Mexico State as being the last team to beat Connecticut in the NCAA tournament in 2022. And
it's a great trivia question.
It can't tell you how many people have asked me that over the last, because I brought it up 3 weeks ago, right? And people have been hitting me with that. Yes, I know that answer. That one I know. But to think that they didn't, after 2 straight first-round losses, and they stuck with Dan Hurley. And I got to believe that there was some heat on it at that point.
No doubt.
And
2 years in a row, you're out in the first round.
And you lost to New Mexico
State. The second time, it was a double-digit seed. Not from a power conference.
Yeah.
And
yes.
I'm sure half the people probably thought they lost to a team that did not play in the United States.
All right, you ready for this? For those of you who are trying to find the right way to put this, just miss the days of 4-year seniors, 5-year seniors that hate the transfer portal. That and I think that's most people, but you're not going to like this. And this is the way college athletics is going. The NCAA Division I Council, that's like the rule governing body, is looking to adopt emergency legislation, which is the way it's phrased is really interesting. For a new transfer rule, JJ, that would allow all undergraduate athletes to transfer and play immediately if they meet specific academic requirements. The Athletic reported this first. So basically, this legislation, JJ, would not limit the number of times an athlete can transfer. Athletes would still have the 2 transfer windows, and they won't be, and they will not be able, as they were in the past, able to transfer mid-year and play for a second school in the same season. So essentially, what this is, JJ, is unlimited transfers for student athletes, assuming they meet the academic requirements. And I hear you thumbing or typing or whatever it is your response, how you hate this and it's mercenaries. And as much as you might be right, this is where this is going. And these are 1-year deals. Everybody, it's not even like pro sports, man, where, if you sign a guy to a 3-year deal, you control his rights for 3 years or whatever. These are 1-year deals, man. And he doesn't like it, or he doesn't like green chili, or he doesn't like Kansas City barbecue, or he doesn't like the cold, or he doesn't like the hot, or gone. And that's that. You think the transfer portal's crazy now? The Division I Council will meet April 17th and 18th, which is next week. And this is where this is going. Previously, the NCAA had this one-time transfer rule, which allowed the athletes to play immediately at the first school they transferred to, but they had to sit out a year. They transferred again, or they would apply for a waiver. But in January of this year, the U.S. Department of Justice joined in a lawsuit against the NCAA transfer rules that argued the limitations on transfers violate antitrust laws And here you go, boys and girls. It is wide open.
It's a bunch of franchise tags for college athletes.
Kind of, yeah.
It's one where I don't know anymore what is a good outcome for college athletes, because they want all of the freedom and benefit without any negatives for themselves. And I'm not saying we should punish student athletes, but they want the money with no consequences on the other end. They want the scholarships. They want to be able to go wherever they want year in and year out. And that's not even the model that pro sports uses. So good on them for being able to create this model where it's ridiculously beneficial. But where I'm trying to look at is, all right, what is the middle ground? Does it become, do teams try to sign, like,
no, the middle.
Will they try to, get, hey, so, here's your 2-year NIL commitment for this amount of money, but if you leave at this time, we take away this. Do they become tradable? Like, this is the way it's trending. They want to unionize.
Do they become tradable? That's so
like
interesting.
honest. They want to be pro sports without any of the stuff that goes with pro sports, which is signing contracts, which is getting cut whenever, not at the end of the season going, hey, we're not renewing your scholarship. It's like you could be cut whenever in sports. Just like, don't like it, don't want to put up with you, you're gone. No, that does happen in college athletics, but it would just outright be, you're not even sticking around. Like, boom, peace, cutting you off. Have fun figuring out where you're living next week. Like, I used to think I had an idea of what the future would hold. Now I have none. Yeah. I really have none.
Well, this is, to your point, the word was guardrails. There's none. The student athlete went from having almost none of the control to having absolute all of it. And which is good. I think there should be a control dynamic. They're not property. They should have the opportunity to go do what they're right. The middle ground, JJ, was where we were. The one unlimited transfer, because at some point, see, here's the other side of this. Well, there's a lot of other sides of this. The school is investing in these student athletes when they get there. And I know people laugh at that. Whatever. They're making money on it. The school's investing in scholarships, in everything that they're giving to the student athlete, plus the NIL money. There is an investment. There is. And how is the school protected?
The school's not at this point in time, and we're getting further and further away from student athletes, and that's what some people want, but that's not the reality or a good thing for the majority of student athletes. And what this does is, and I hear it a lot, and there's a lot of people that say, well, this is the bed you made, lay in it. Okay, but that also does not present a positive future for athletes and teams, because it's to me, it's not fans that are like, oh, you're transferring. It's the fact that you're never going to be able to build a team.
Yeah.
Like, you are always going to have to be
1 year.
1 year. And that is, it's going to be impossible for teams to compete. Like, the teams that are good now are going to continue to be good, resources, foundations. But if you're trying to build something up, and you're going to lose everything. And I'm thinking about right here, next year for the Lobo women. I know there's a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of noise, but you had a team that finished second place in the Mountain West Conference. Everyone left. And this is a team that's had some success, that has a solid foundation, that, go, oh, okay, they have to rebuild. But I'm just thinking about the rest of the conference, and it's going to be impossible for the Mountain West Conference to ever matter in women's basketball. How the heck is Fresno State supposed to get good? Like, Utah State's never going to field a women's basketball program that's worth a darn. San Jose State loses their best player every year on both sides. Like, it's impossible to build your conference, and it's going to be impossible to have a competitive basketball team, because you might have 1 year of success and then it's all gone.
I think you're well aware that people who make the rules don't care.
Yeah.
They don't
it
care.
Doesn't hurt them.
And I don't know, I keep hearing, well, Billy Donovan may come back to college. Why would you want to be back to college basketball?
Not right now.
Why would you want to come back to this? And the way it is, you have to rebuild and it's always that way. You're always restocking. You're always recruiting. But especially at this level, man, where people are going to steal your dudes. They just are. You know, I look at San Diego State's team last year. Would they have been different if they had Keyshawn Johnson? The guy who went to Arizona this year. Would they have been better? I mean, they were Sweet 16.
They might have won an extra Mountain West game.
But that's
or
the
two.
team that went to the national championship and got poached, right? And you know, the window's still open. It's the 9th, right? Everybody's still worried about what's going on here. Yeah, I think everybody hates this, but and probably the people who are voting for it hate it, but they are so afraid of litigation, so afraid of getting sued, because every time the NCAA and college athletics is taken to court, they lose. That they're trying to just get ahead of it and say, fine, just transfer all you want.
I don't know how you build a team.
I don't know
in
how
college
you do it
athletics in certain programs, because you're losing your best player every single year.
I don't know how you do it either.
And it is going to be, the majority of your starting lineups from these teams are going to be gone.
Matt says transfers, it's laughable. The transfer rules violate antitrust laws, but Power Five's poaching schools and coaches and limiting conference money access doesn't. Our entire government is a joke. Bring on the meteor. I mean, the meteor is blowing it all up right now. I mean,
and all this is, it's the NCAA just continuing to say, we do not want to have to deal with any of this. We can't deal with any of this. So y'all can figure it out.
All right, when we come back, the NAIA is a college governing body. They came out and made a bold statement yesterday regarding transgender women and sports. And they have a policy, and they went out, and it was a unanimous vote. What they said, what it means, and what it might mean for the NCAA moving forward. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Robert.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet? Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
And I don't know if this is going to be precedent. I do believe it will be litigated. The NAIA, which is the governing body for many small schools, there's 83,000 athletes in schools across the country in NAIA. They're intercollegiate. You know some of the schools. Their Council of Presidents voted yesterday 20-0 on this policy. That will basically it bans transgender athletes from competing in women's sports. So according to this transgender participation policy, all athletes may participate in NAIA-sponsored male sports, but only athletes whose biological gender assigned at birth is female and who have not begun hormone therapy will be allowed to participate in women's sports. A student who has started hormone therapy may participate in activities such as workouts, practices, team activities, but may not compete in interscholastic competition. Okay, so the NAIA programs, all right. Their president is a guy named Jim Carr, and here's what he said. He said, "quote We know there are a lot of opinions, and a lot of people have a very emotional reaction to this, and we want to be respectful of that. But we feel like our primary responsibility is fairness and competition. So we are following a path, and we've tried as best we could to allow for some participation by all." That was his quote. Basically, his participation is they can be in workouts and team activities. The National Women's Law Center is outraged. Their spokesperson is Shiwali Patel, and they put out this statement. This is unacceptable and blatant discrimination that not only harms trans, non-binary, and intersex individuals, but limits the potential of all athletes. It's important to recognize that these discriminatory policies don't enhance fairness in competition. Instead, they send a message of exclusion and reinforce dangerous stereotypes that harm all women. That was the quote. There's been lawsuits. There have been it's going back and forth, and this will be litigated. 24 states currently have laws that bar transgender women and girls from competing in women's or girls' competition. The Biden administration's in on this. They originally had planned to release a new federal Title IX rule forbidding discrimination based on sex in education, which would address both campus sexual assault and transgender athletes, but they're switching this out. And then the NCAA was asked about it as well. Basically, I think the response, JJ, is we're going to see what happens here. I think they want to see how this plays out in court. I'm not going to tell you I was surprised. I guess I was surprised that it was 20-0. I'm not surprised that there's response. There's a policy now. I'm not afraid to tell you where I stand on this. I support be whoever you want to be. I think people should try whoever you want to be. The way I do believe that there is a biological advantage for men over women, and this may be the line where you just have to say, you know what, you can be whoever you feel comfortable being, but there may have to be a line at athletics. Do you have any thoughts when it came out?
I do have thoughts on this.
Want to hit it when we come back?
Can't. Yeah.
Now the music's
50
playing?
seconds.
Yeah. All right, we'll hit that. And Jamal Mashburn Sr. Was on Rome yesterday. His comments on his son Jamal Jr., the former Lobo, who's now in the transfer portal, and your thoughts as well on this policy by the NAIA, what the NCAA has for it, and where this may go. It's the opening drive, Jeff and JJ on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Out.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
You make my heart better. Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Young driver, this one.
Last night to finish the repeat. JJ, we've been talking about a lot of off-court stuff. If you're just joining us, the Division I Council is going to vote, and it looks like it's basically going to be unlimited transfers in college basketball. It's basically it's what has to happen right now. Having some requirements associated with the academics is a short fix until something comes with the federal part of the agreement. But there's a lot of people suing. The attorney generals are suing the NCAA, and it's kind of where they had to go because everybody is not only are they afraid of the litigation, they're losing all the litigation. And then the other one that we're talking about, and it's the NAIA, college athletics. Bunch of 83,000 students across. There's a lot of schools. Voted yesterday. Their policy is going to be trans women may not participate in women's intercollegiate sports. They can participate in practices and team activities and workouts, but not in competition. And again, everybody, this will be litigated. This will be challenged. Title IX will be part of this. And I said before the break, I completely support that. Be whoever you want to be. And I understand the best I can. The transition is very tough and it's challenging, and but I also understand. I think most people do that. There is a difference, a biological difference between a biological man and a biological woman, and it's been women who have been very vocal about this. And if this is where the line is, if this is it's unfortunate you can't participate in women's athletics. I think this is a ruling for the majority over the minority, and that's where I am. I don't have a problem with this. Where are you on this?
I think a little bit of this is scare tactics.
Okay.
Because why? I don't think there's a bunch of people flocking to NAIA schools and trying to win championships in women's sports. There was Lisa Thomas at Penn, the swimmer that won a D1 championship, which I think is a legit fair conversation. But this is almost like, hey, we're going to do this to make news. Because a lot of this to me is scare tactics. Because the immediate response is you get people screaming, like, would you want your daughter beat by this person, that person? Like, I understand that, but it's not happening. Like, there's not a bunch of dudes just pretending to be girls to go win championships at NAIA schools.
I agree with you on the point that, and this is the people scream, well, a guy who's a crappy golfer is going to become a woman.
No,
a guy who can't play men's basketball. That's not why people transition,
and that's not happening.
And I agree with that. I don't know that I've heard of one case where a man transitioned or faked transition simply to play athletics.
And that's the first go-to talking point for everyone. No, I'm like, well, show me where is there some NAIA school that's dominating because they have a bunch of dudes pretending to be girls? There's not.
Yeah. And I hear that all the time. And that's not why people transition. So I agree with you on that. As far as people who do transition and want to play athletics, I think it's unfortunate that there is a policy. It's unfortunate for them. However, life isn't always fair, and I think this is going to be, one of the barriers that might not be able to get crossed. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I do think that this is just another thing come into my mind too of why we have to stop pitting men versus women. And it kind of goes back to the Caitlin Clark Big Three situation. Like, I don't need Caitlin Clark to try to go play against a bunch of NBA has-beens to prove anything to me about her ability to play the game of basketball.
All right. I just was going to the phone. Tony's gone. All right. If you want to get in on that, you can. I know it's going to be controversial. I know it's going to be litigated. What about the NCAA? Okay. The NCAA has had a policy for transgender athlete participation since 2010. It called for 1 year of testosterone suppression treatment and documented testosterone levels submitted before championship competitions. In 2022, the NCAA revised its policies on transgender athlete participation, trying to align themselves with national governing bodies and following the lead of the U.S. Olympic and the Paralympic Committee. So it's a 3-phase implementation. And this policy included a continuation of the 2010 policy, requiring transgender women to be on hormone replacement therapy for at least a year, plus the submission of a hormone level test before the start of both the regular season and championship event. And the third phase adds an international sport governing body standard to this NCAA policy. So there was a delay. It's scheduled to be implemented next school year. But there's so many angles to this, because then there's the high school stuff. There are 15.3 million estimated public high school students in the United States, right? And there was a study in 2019, estimated 1.8% of them, 275,000, are transgender. The number of athletes within that group is much smaller. There was another survey that suggested fewer than 15% of all transgender boys and transgender girls play sports. We're talking about a very small, but we're talking about, there's going to be incidents. You have to have a policy. I mean, if you're telling me it's 15% of 275,000, and so it's 30,000, 35,000, 40,000 high school students, there's got to be a policy, right? 40,000. I understand it's a small percentage, but it's not an insignificant number, right? And so this will be challenged. And so if you want to get in on that, I mean, it's out there, and I didn't think we could pass over it. All right, I do want to hit this. Jamal Mashburn Jr. was on Jim Rome yesterday. I'm sorry,
no,
Jamal Mashburn Sr.
was on Friday.
Jamal Mashburn Sr. was on Jim. And this is Friday?
Yeah.
And this is good stuff. And I think everybody loves Jamal Mashburn Jr., and I don't know how much you know about Sr. And this is really cool. So you can go ahead and set this up, because any dad who's watched their kid play is gonna enjoy this.
I thought it was interesting because I think for Jamal Mashburn Jr., he had a frustrating ending to his Lobo career.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there were people that overanalyzed his game, that did not realize he had an injury to his shooting hand, which absolutely affected him this season, but they didn't care, because all of a sudden he was not a playmaker. He didn't play any defense. And he kind of became scapegoated by a lot of people.
No doubt.
For this team. And yeah, he struggled this season, but to just look at this year and try to take away what he did. And this is a tough one, because on the way out, when you're kicking the dude when he's down, and then you try to come back and say, well, I appreciate him, but it's time to move on. It feels really disingenuous to me to do that to Jamal Mashburn. Like, we can acknowledge that he struggled this season, but to be happy that he's gone, a lot of people were. And don't come with me at that BS, man, because the social media conversation is a lot bigger than any of y'all want to realize, because everyone's on it. But I just thought, listening to Jamal Mashburn Sr., was a reminder of, as you said, kind of a proud dad and how impactful Junior was. And I'm really fascinated about his next step, because Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Jalen House, in the moment gets a little crazy, but you take a step back, those dudes were the foundation for the turnaround for Lobo basketball.
No doubt.
Speaking about expectations, bringing them back, raising that bar to being upset, not just indifferent. Because it's one thing when you get indifferent, which a lot of people did during the Paul Royer era. Now they lose a game and you're upset. And these guys help bring it back.
All right. So this is Jamal Sr. then talking about watching his son grow on the court, watching him play, right?
It's and thanks for asking that, because I think a lot of times people look at a father and son, especially when his son is playing in a particular sport that their father has excelled at the professional ranks, and forget that we're also dads as well, and we we live and breathe all the accomplishments and also all the failures that go along with the journey as well. So, it's been exciting for me to watch him develop not only as a basketball player, but as a human being and as a man as well, as a young man. Early part when he got recruited coming out of high school, I had to take the lead and the reins on asking the questions, organizing the process, and different things like that. But now that he entered in the transfer portal, I've only had a few schools that reached out to me directly, and they've all reached out to him, and he's handled the process and really figured out what he actually wants from the next coach and the next program. So I'm proud of him for being able to make his own decisions and becoming the best player he can possibly be as he's tried to chase the dream to become a professional.
Really cool, huh? I mean, you can hear the pride in it and watch it, but it's controlled. It's really, really cool. All right, so the obvious question, JJ, is he going to Kentucky?
Because this was Friday.
Yeah.
This is for, that John Calipari and his bro, because Jim Rome was referencing, hey, just had a conversation with Cal a little bit ago about wanting to get older with his teams, etc. And this is what Senior had to say about that.
Actually, for me, the way I've always looked at it is that, we've had a bunch of college coaches, and it's probably a list of 30 that I won't mention because I'm not into, name dropping or anything like that. But as you mentioned, he's a two-time Mountain West all-conference player. So he's had a lot of schools reaching out to him from, all the Power Five to other conferences as well. I just want to see what's best for him, at the end of the day. My mother, when I was getting recruited, she would say to me, what's the best situation for you? Because you're the one that actually has to live it, and I don't typically live in the past, and especially for my son, because he's looking forward and looking at his future. So if Lexington is good for him and he makes that particular choice that he would want to go there, then so be it. But it won't be tied to what I accomplished or the university that I went to. I want him to make his own decision and make his own journey because he's the one that has to walk that walk.
It's hard not to like that, isn't it? It's kind of crazy, man, because I literally been having these conversations with my kid at a totally different level. I'm not if she's deciding where to go, what's right for you? What do you feel? I mean, yeah, I got thoughts. I'm not pushing you. Yeah, I'll walk through you on this place or that place and what this place has over that place and this. But where do you feel comfortable? And I love, and I have no doubt that there's at least 30 schools that have reached out to Mash, and I'd be surprised if that's it. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think Jamal Mashburn, for some people, were at his welcome at the University of New Mexico. But if he does stick around to play collegiate ball one more season, there's plenty of places he could end up being a starting shooting guard. He could be the sixth guy off the bench at a quote unquote bigger program and still be very impactful.
You watched Elijah Brown that one year at Oregon, and you watched Cullen Neal when he went to Ole Miss and St. Mary's, but you're going to watch this guy way more than probably any guy who left, I think. I think Louisville fans go, oh, did you see Mash last night? Because he's going to have a year. Wherever he goes, he's going to be Mash. He's going to have a hell of a year. Charlie Mintz coming up at 8:30, filmmaker. There's a really good documentary coming out this week on Diego Sanchez. He talked to, went over to Jackson Wink. Talked to Dana White, all these people. It goes back to his high school stuff. You'll enjoy that. Charlie's coming up at 8:30 this morning. Got a couple NFL notes when we come back. It's the opening drive, and is the Cowboys' number one receiver not going to camp? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Your surprisingly great rates? Contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Jeff Sabieta, JJ Buck. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb going into the final year of his rookie deal. He's expected to skip voluntary workouts, may even hold out of the mandatories, according to the Dallas Morning News. So, JJ, what happens here? He may, if he doesn't get the contract he wants, be a hold-in once the mandatories begin. He wants a new deal. Cowboys, you know where they are on all this money. What happens here?
got to pay the man. This is one of the deals that you need to get done. Yes, because the longer you wait, the more expensive it gets. He is in the conversation with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, the best receivers in the game. You're going to have to owe those dudes a lot of money.
Led the NFL, 135 catches last year, career highs in yards, career highs in touchdowns. He's coming into being that guy, and it's probably time to pay the man. 505-246-0610. Travis, you want to talk some college hoops? What's up, Travis?
Good morning, fellas.
Good day, sir. What's happening?
Hey, our trio is down to 2, huh?
Yes, we are a duo now. Yes.
Yeah, I guess the brass thought JJ didn't have enough to do, so they stuck him in the booth working the board.
Really not nearly enough.
Let me just say to the radio brass at Cumulus, you don't keep a thoroughbred in the stable. JJ is the voice of the Lady Lobos. You need that talent out front and center. I mean, you're telling me the best sports show in New Mexico doesn't deserve a production guy? Can someone call 505 Sports Ventures? Like, do we need to start a GoFundMe? Like, you don't stick JJ behind the glass. You don't do that. So let's get this figured out. Cumulus, you better bring a bag to the table, get something going. These guys deserve it. But look, quick word just about last night's game. I really loved Dan Hurley's passion. I heard some of the comments this morning, and people are upset about the comments he made in that post game. And look, college basketball needs that kind of passion, and we would certainly love to have that same kind of passion here in New Mexico. I mean, he's getting into Zach Edey's face there on the court. He's pushing his own players to start the action and gets teed up for it. I love it. Like, keep going. But just a quick word on Kentucky. I saw yesterday some Kentucky fans were upset because Calipari got caught out on the street walking his dog.
Yes.
And refused to make a comment to Kentucky fans. And Kentucky fans are like, this is the last image we will ever have of Calipari. Screw him. And it's like, you guys were trying to run him out of town 2 weeks ago, and now you're just pissed because he's leaving.
Well, you want him to say something that you can rip into him about. What do you want?
I mean, anything, right? I mean, at this point, Kentucky fans are just a bunch of jilted lovers. They're only pissed off because he broke up with them first. Have a good day, guys.
Later. Yeah, I think they are. He got caught walking his dog, wouldn't talk. I think they really wanted
he didn't get caught doing anything. He was just trying to walk his dog.
That's right.
And the news station runs up.
You're 100%.
Cal, do you have it? He's like, no, I'm trying to walk my dog.
You're 100% right.
And he had a small dog that was on a leash walking, and he was pushing a stroller. Yeah. And then, boy, did that not go over well for him.
What was wrong with the stroller?
They're like, he's a stroller walker. That's who John Calipari is. That's who our head coach is going to be.
Was dog in a stroller?
Not at the moment. The dog was walking, but it was a really small dog. Like, that dog is not walking far distances.
Whatever, man. What do you care?
It's the way people are, Jeff.
So if Cal would have said something,
he should have been walking 2 pit bulls, and then that would have been the coach you want to lead your basketball.
And let them off their leashes, and so they can go after them.
At the news people that were coming up to him.
And so you wanted him to say something so you could rip into him and put it on social media and beat the hell out of him a little more on the way out? What do you want him to say?
He should have been like, do you guys like chicken?
I feel bad for the news guys, too, because they were sent out and say, go find Cal in his neighborhood. Like, go knock on his door.
Investigative journalism.
Let me just tell you something. When Neil McCarthy got fired at New Mexico State, and I was at Channel 7, and they flew me down to Sky 7 down there and got a car and literally went to his house.
We're the chopper chasing him now.
No, seriously, we went to his house, and he pulled up into his garage, and Coach, we got the only interview. No, he didn't really. It wasn't an interview, man. We yelled across the driveway, and he said a couple of things, and I don't remember what it was.
We go live to Jeff Symbieta. He's chasing Neil McCarthy down.
And I just felt terrible.
We're in a Chopper 7 right now, everyone. She's taking a left.
That was my assignment.
He's going through the drive-thru.
Yep. Came back to Sky 7. I remember watching whatever drama was on Channel 7 that night. All right, coming up next, Charlie Min, former Channel 13 sports guy, now a filmmaker. He's got a documentary coming out called Nightmare. It's on Diego Sanchez and how he came up in the fighting world and how great he is. So we're going to talk to Charlie and about that movie and some other sports movies that he's got going as well. International Protective Service is taking security to a whole new level, like a new level. For 18 years, they've offered standing guards, 24-hour patrols to protect homes and businesses in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Recently, they launched in Santa Fe. But now IPS Global Aviation is using a fleet of drones with high-definition cameras and analytics software to exceed your security expectations. So the drones, IPS can now monitor your next event or track emergency response. They'll follow criminal activity that you can't see as well from the ground. And the drones include thermal imaging, so IPS can help with eyes in the sky during wildfire season. It's unmatched ability to watch from the air. On the ground, IPS continues to use highly trained armed officers to watch the home or business that means so much to you. They'll install cameras and monitor them around the clock to deter criminal activity around your property, and even offer personal bodyguards if there's a threat to your safety. So if you got a security issue, IPS has you covered. They're at 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 online at ipsglobal.com. IPS, passionate about making Albuquerque a better and safer place to live and work.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated,
Rip, plastered,
destroyed, bruh.
If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Gone this weekend, and there's a movie that you're going to want to see, a documentary that's coming out, and I think you're going to love it. It's on a legend, not only around here, but anywhere that anybody knows anything about fighting, and certainly UFC, on Diego Sanchez. And I think you're going to enjoy it. I got to watch the trailer. I'm looking forward to seeing the film. It's The Opening Drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. We'll get back to your phone calls in a little bit, but I'm looking forward to having this conversation. He's been with us before, and some of you will remember Charlie Mim. He was a sportscaster at Channel 13. I think it was KGGM, if I'm not mistaken, back then. And now he's gone on to just a terrific career of making films, and he's got a film coming out called Nightmare. It's on UFC legend Diego Sanchez. And Charlie Min joins us on The Sports Animal. What's up, Charlie? How you living?
Good morning, Jeff. Thanks so much for having me.
Was it KGGM back then?
You know, when I got there, it was August 1992. It was KGGM, and then about a month later, it became KRQE. And Van Tate, one of the nicest guys I've ever met, took over for me, and God bless his soul, he's still there.
Yeah, well, so you got them to change their call letters. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah, exactly. That's my lasting impact.
Well, then they turned the whole thing around, and they've been really, really powerful ever since.
Well, that's because I left. You know, they had to get rid of all the trash. You know,
they got rid of me too. Now it's been when did I left there 2005, I want to say. So yeah, it's been a minute since I got out of there as well. You're doing great things, man. Movie after movie, and you got a good one. I watched the trailer. And I think anybody around this town knows Diego and the legend that he is. What made you want to make this film, and what you learned?
I've made so many true crime documentaries that I just felt like going back to sports. I've done a couple of sports films, one about the LA Kings, one about high school football. So this was a way to go back to my original roots, and that's sports. And I just thought that this was a very fascinating character, and he is. He's quite a pro athlete in many, many ways, and he had his ups and downs. There's no question about it. So I think that actually makes for a better story.
He's so Albuquerque, isn't he? Right? I mean, as far as fighting his way up, taking a odd path. When the Ultimate Fighter came, and I saw the interview in there, you went to Jackson Wink and talked to the coaches there and the guys there. Nobody knew what the Ultimate Fighter was, and my favorite line in that trailer was, I just thought it was another reality show. No concept of how big it was, and it really launched it.
I mean, that 2005 season one could have been a bust. I mean, who knows? Right. You know, you try something, you roll the dice, and Dana White will roll the dice, literally. And he took a shot. He went about $40 million in debt. But sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to take a huge hit before you reap all the benefits.
It's Charlie Min, a filmmaker, and he's got a new film coming out this week, right? The 19th? Is that right?
No, it actually comes out next week, the 19th. We didn't want to compete with UFC 300.
Yeah.
So actually this weekend on Saturday during UFC 300, Diego Sanchez and I will be visiting a lot of different sports establishments in town.
Nice.
And I think that will give the crowd a rush because anyone who watches UFC 300, and as you mentioned, Holly Holm is fighting, there's going to be a lot of UFC fans and people that know of Diego Sanchez.
And you interviewed and talked to Dana White about this. And Dana White is one of the most fascinating characters. I honestly believe that in sports this century, to your point, he created this league. He created this phenomena that is UFC. He went $40 million in debt. What did he say about Diego, as much as you can share and want to share?
He has such a heart for tough season one fighters, and that's Tough, the Ultimate Fighter. Anytime you mention season one, he gets emotional because those are his pioneers. Those are his kids in a way. That's the original. You know, your Diego Sanchez's, your Stephan Bonners, your Forrest Griffins, and those were the guys that led him to who he is today. So he always talks about if any of those season one guys call him, whether it's Chris Lieben, he'll pick up the phone and he'll talk to any of those guys and do anything for him. And I really do believe he's sincere because he actually admitted he doesn't like some of them personally, but the fact that they were season one guys, he always says, if they need me, just pick up the phone.
Now, Charlie, when you go into a documentary, how much work do you have to do beforehand? And are you prepared to go any direction that might come up that's unexpected? And how do you deal with stuff like that once you get into it?
Let's put it to you this way. I haven't slept in maybe 40 hours. I'm literally on fumes just to make sure that we covered all the angles properly and all the editing looks good and the soundtrack and whatnot. And it's been quite a challenge. I don't do too many sports films. I do mainly true crime films. My career started with the unsolved Las Cruces Bowling Alley massacre, and people can watch 35 of my movies on Amazon Prime. So it's quite a challenge. This is no different. And all the information for this particular film is on nightmaresanchez.com. That's the website.
What made you want to do this one? Like there's so many. I know you want to get back into sports, but why Diego's story?
Looking at Diego Sanchez was almost like looking in the mirror for me. As a filmmaker, my style as a filmmaker is almost like his style in the Octagon. It's frenetic, it's fast-paced, it's never boring. You choose fascinating people to do your movies on, and there's no doubt he's very fascinating. He covers every ticker in life. Diego Sanchez is funny. He's abstract. He's unlikable. He's likable.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it, this guy kind of covers it all. One second you love him, another second you're like, boy, this guy is silly for doing some of the things that he's done. Many people may not know that Diego Sanchez was fighting substance abuse and addiction for just about his entire career. He's been actually suspended 2 different times by the UFC. So Diego Sanchez is hardly a perfect person. And after watching everything, studying him, I just felt that would make a great story because he's had his ups and downs.
Hey, Charlie, when you're chasing these stories and things that you want to share and tell, is it stuff that interests you, or is it easier for you to go in just with kind of a blank slate and you're almost learning everything as you go throughout this process?
I would say the latter. I would say just learning everything on the fly. All the information is fresh. You just immerse yourself and you want to know everything about the person. So people will understand Diego Sanchez, the fighter, the person, the father, the son. We interview his 10-year-old daughter. We also interview his mom. We interview his main trainer, Greg Jackson. The JW MMA Academy is a huge focus in this film. I mean, they're regarded as one of the top gyms in the country, and they've been an excellent feeder for Dana White in the UFC.
Charlie, how are people going to be able to watch this film? It comes out the 19th, which is next week.
Yeah, people can go to the Icon Cinemas. There's 2 locations, one on San Mateo and the other one on Central, I believe. And then the other location is Premier Cinemas in Rio Rancho. So I wanted to kind of cover all different parts of Albuquerque so people don't have to drive that far.
And it's not the only sports film. I know you're getting back a little bit, as you said, to your roots. And I would get, look, I did sports and I did news. And I got out of sports and news was fun for a while and doing the hard stuff. But, man, when I got back into sports, it was, I don't know if refreshing is the right word, but there was a rejuvenation as well. And it sounds like you're kind of doing that. You got Tales of Joe West coming out, too.
Yeah, Joe West, the former Major League Baseball umpire. That movie's actually on Amazon Prime now. It's called 5460. It's called 5460 because that's the number of games he umpired. It's a record for Major League Baseball. I mean, can you imagine umpiring 5,460 games? He lasted from 1976 to 2021. All those years of traveling, all the planes, hotels, stadiums, restaurants, 35 years doing that. And that's Joe West. So people can go on Amazon and other streaming platforms and watch that film. It actually just got on streaming, called 5460.
I'm not going to lie, man. That fascinates me. I want to watch Diego, and I saw the trailer, but that fascinates me more. We've talked about officials and umpires all the time, and the life of them and what they go through, and that, remember who Joe West was over all the years. Like that one fascinates me. I will find that one because I always think of that life, man. You never have a home game. You never have a home meal. You're always on the road. You're always like,
you never have fans.
Never, ever.
Right. I mean, you never get cheers unless you fall down on the field.
Yeah, and he probably did that. Yeah.
Right? I mean, if anything, you're going to get booed. And the best thing is not to get any reaction. That means you're not creating any type of a controversy.
That's how you're supposed to be. Yeah, nobody's supposed to know the name of the umpire unless you've been there from 1976 to 2021, which is, how many years is that? That's
35. And Joe West might make the Hall of Fame. You never know. He was actually up for induction this past December. He did not come close. I'm not sure if he will make the Hall of Fame because a lot of people don't like Joe West. So there's another fascinating character in Joe West where, believe me, he is not 100% loved. A lot of people don't like him because he acted like a tough guy in the field.
Charlie, the stuff's great. Let people know how to see your films one more time. And again, it's Nightmare. Diego Sanchez is coming out on the 19th. It's over at Icon Cinemas, the two locations in Albuquerque and Premier Cinema out in Rio Rancho. But let people know how to find your stuff and you, because what you're doing is really cool. And I know people are going to love the Diego stuff. So just watching the trailer and hearing from his daughter, hearing from his mother, hearing from his trainer, watching stuff from high school, seeing Charlie Dotson in there when he was wrestling, not Charlie wrestling, but Diego was wrestling. I know people around here are going to love this.
Yeah, I mean, he went to Del Norte High School, and he won state in 2000. That's what Del Norte repeated. They went back-to-back in 2000 and 2001. So he's a proud Knight, and they beat Santa Fe in the final. So that was quite a moment in Albuquerque sports history. But if people want to watch my films, they can just go on Amazon.com and type in Charlie Min. And fortunately, the world shows up, about 35 movies, and a lot of New Mexico films. I did a movie about the murder of Sui Fang, who was the masseuse, who was shot 10 times in her massage parlor on Manal a few years ago, and yesterday was her 48th birthday. And that murder should be talked about more because it really disgraced Albuquerque. And we even talk about crime in Albuquerque. This is and that's in the Diego Sanchez film. We talk about everything about Albuquerque. We even talk about Lobo basketball. So this is a Albuquerque film to the bone. Yes, Diego is really globally known, but let's make no mistake about it. This is an Albuquerque film, and we really hope that people next weekend support a local film from the heart rather than a studio film where those people don't even care about you.
No, and you're going to love it. Always be catching up with you, my friend. Appreciate you reaching out on this one. Congratulations on all the success, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Yeah, Jeff and JJ, thanks so much for having me.
All right, be well, Charlie. Charlie Min, and go find all his films over at Amazon.com. Just put in Charlie Min, and I think you're going to love the library that you find. Kenny's going to be here with Kenny Thomas. I know he's got some thoughts on Diego. He'll have thoughts on the championship game last night, NBA stuff, maybe even the Masters when we kick it with Kenny coming up at 9 o'clock. Here on The Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Light skin shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be.
All right. You got a movie to watch now. It should be actually pretty cool. I think you'll enjoy it. It'll and Charlie does really good work. It's good to catch up with Charlie. All right, it's nice to have choices, right? You can go to Amazon. You can choose one of Charlie's 35 movies. JJ, remember when it was AJ Brown, right? That was basically sitting out with the Raiders because he wanted to wear his old helmet and it wasn't approved by the NFL.
Oh, Antonio Brown.
I mean, it was Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown.
Yep.
Well, he's got more options. Helmet manufacturers have now more than doubled the number of position-specific models that'll be available to NFL players this year. There's new rankings that were released. So 8 of the top 12 ranked helmets are designed for either quarterbacks or offensive and defensive linemen. Bottom line is, dude, there's way more helmets now. 8 position-specific helmets in the top 12. There's space for offensive line and defensive line helmets. There's quarterback helmets. Rydell's Axiom 3D, which has versions for both positions, plus a standard model. So all kinds of all the stories we've ever covered, that's one of the most bizarre stories. This is the hill I'm going to die on. I'm holding out to where my old crappy, not approved anymore helmet, because I can't find one of the 30 options that they're giving me to use. So now the NFL, evidently, they've more than doubled the specific helmet options that you can choose.
Well, as we found out with Antonio Brown, that was just the tip of the iceberg for what was going on with that man.
It's the most bizarre thing you think he did. The feet.
Did he also freeze his feet off?
Yeah, the feet injury was the one when he froze his feet off. Yeah.
Taking your jersey off and walking off the field in the middle of a football game.
It was the last time we saw him on a field, is it not? He literally took his jersey off and walked off.
Icing on the cake.
Yeah.
Of just straight up. That's like people do at rec league games.
You know what?
Like they get upset and they rip their shirt off and they go home.
Our dude Charlie Mid needs to do a story on Antonio Brown. That's the documentary that you want to do. Because we'd all watch that, right? I mean, follow his career. That was one of the most bizarre. And he was good, man.
He was one of the best receivers in the game.
He was really, really good.
He was so good, Tom Brady vouched for him.
Yeah.
Because he knew, he's like, I want this guy.
And then he turned on Tom Brady, remember?
Then he turned on Tom.
Flat out turned on Brady. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so there's a list out now. There's like helmet laboratory testing performance results. This is real. Like there's literally, okay, here, you can go online, helmet laboratory testing performance results from the NFLPA. So you can pick it. But my point is, Antonio Brown's got plenty of options. He just can't find a job. Kenny Thomas is scheduled to be here next. Kick it with Kenny. Get into the championship game last night. How would he guard Zach? How would Kenny Thomas guard Zach? Deny him, push him, foul him, what? And we are counting it down. The NBA's regular season. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck, glad you're with us on a Tuesday morning on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
A party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more,
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, look, it's Dwight Goodman. Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh? I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom. Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom. Boom!
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta. So stop by and see us today at Fiesta Kia on Lomas, or just start driving now at fiestakia.com.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mirror here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Brought to you by Capital Ford on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
There's a gentleman out at Santa Ana and Twin Waters. He's the starter out there, been for years. A gentleman named Newey. And he knows me. Way back in the day when I was at Channel 7, I used to play golf. Bob Brown and I would play with Lee Faria and JP Murrieta, and we'd get out there. And Newey always knew, man. I would come rolling up, literally tying my shoes as they were on the first tee. I'd never hit any balls. Never. Kenny Thomas, ladies and gentlemen, rolls right up. You don't need to hit any balls. Roll up as they're rolling the open, and we're kicking. What's up, man?
Man, hey, what's up, you guys?
Is that a fair analogy?
Yeah, that's cool because sometimes I roll up and I don't hit balls, and then I go out there and I play some amazing golf, right? But
you play amazing golf.
Hey, man, it's all a bit. Way to sneak that in there. This is why I love you. But I will sneak one in there at some point in the next 30 minutes.
What's up, man?
Man, I'm good, man. But sometimes you got to just roll in.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Look, how many years, JJ, did I roll in? Now, I kind of changed my act here in the last few months. But how many years did I roll in about 2 minutes before we rolled the open on the show?
It might have happened.
It might have happened once or twice. It just does. It's how it is, man. And knew you would laugh because that's when I was working nights.
Yeah.
And
oh wow.
And, we'd have an 8:30 tea time, and it's like, come on, man. I'll come from where I live, getting all the way out to Santa Ana. Getting the helicopter, driving out there. I would literally be putting my shoes on. JP putting his tee in the ground.
Oh wow, that's awesome. See, and now with me doing the post game show after the Lobo games, I get it, man. Because the next day I got to get up and go to work and have meetings and do what I do.
Yeah. Hey, how would you guard Zach Edey?
Man, let me tell you something. I wanted Purdue so bad. I had the opportunity to meet Coach Painter on an airplane coming back from
Purdue
Albuquerque.
Yeah,
the Purdue head coach, great guy. His wife Shelly. I met them connecting, and they were going to Sacramento for something because I was on my way back to Sac at the time, and just amazing people. He's the one that was able to actually connect me to Patino.
Is that right?
He reached out to Patino. Next thing you know, I got a call.
Good.
Which is good. But Zach Edey, back to Zach Edey, man. You gotta. He's 7'4", right? Yeah.
And thick.
What I did with guys like that were kind of bigger, because obviously I would have just been there like anybody else. But I tried to get on the side or front them, actually, to where it's making them work a little bit harder. Normally that.
So they gotta work on the catch.
What do you mean?
They've got to work to get the ball. Right?
As far as what?
If you just can't let them get the ball down low. You got to work them to get the ball.
Yeah. And then you got to start at like the 3-point line, right? Like starting early, because that's going to tire him out trying to establish himself. I did that my whole career, being undersized, right? And then I was always active because playing the 4 against like a Chris Webber or Tim Duncan, I had to stay active and get on the side of them and to where it wasn't just easy for them, right? No. And it was a lot of work. I took a lot of pride playing defense in the NBA because that was one of the things that helped me to be able to stay on the floor. But Zach Edey, man, he's a man-child. It's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds in the NBA, but I'm really looking forward to see him develop.
And I thought what UConn did, too, was really good. Their length on the perimeter, they suffocated Purdue. Yeah. And they said, all right, Zach, you want to go out there, score 37 points, that's great. Boilermakers were just 1 of 7 from 3. No one else could get going. And you saw how hard it was for Purdue to get in the offense.
Very well said, man, JJ, because the way that UConn came out from in the beginning and said, hey, we're about to exploit the fact that we're bigger than Purdue's backcourt. Even though Purdue was used to shooting like 8.5 threes a game, right? And they only had 1 in the first half. That took away their whole dynamic of how they were going to stay in the game. Edey, obviously, he was averaging like 33, 34 points a game, right? And he came out in the first half and he had 25 of their 30 points, which was interesting. But I was really pulling for Purdue. I felt like if they could have got something going, it would have been great. But they stayed cold.
What is Connecticut? And I'm asking you this big picture because we had this conversation. Are they the best program in college basketball. Hear me out. I know that was the team against whom you played your last college game.
Oh yeah,
right. And that was that wasn't the Kemba Walker team. That was team before that. But so they beat you in Denver. That was in '99.
Yeah, '99.
Okay, that was their first championship. Was that the Richard Hamilton teams?
Yes. So
Okay.
it was Ray Allen.
Yeah. So they've won 6 championships in 25 years since 1999. Duke has it. Kentucky has it. UCLA has it. Are they the best? What Danny Hurley says yesterday, man, I'm not going to Kentucky. Now, I don't know how much money Kentucky wants to throw at him, but I would argue right now he's the best coach in college basketball, and that's the premier program right now.
I mean, the Hurley family, they put in work. They got some titles, right?
Well,
so it just seems like the Hurley dynasty knows how to win. If I was a guy like him, the head coach Hurley at UConn right now, I would stay right where I'm at. Why leave? Why
money
would
be the only reason, right?
Yeah, but if you're winning, you're gonna get paid where you're at.
Look,
you can determine your own fate.
If you go somewhere solely for the money, it will not work. You'll have the money, but he's built something. And look,
Yes.
Calhoun and Kevin Ollie built it before him.
Yeah.
He's built it back up. Not only did they repeat, dude, they dominate.
Yeah.
They've dominated. Nobody's repeated since what was it, 06, 07, those Florida teams?
2007.
Yeah. They've won. He said last night, we run college basketball. It's hard to argue it, man.
Yeah.
Why would you leave that?
You don't, man.
Money is the only reason.
Yeah, but you got to understand, like, if you're winning, that program is making money.
Totally agree.
Especially based off of you getting to the championship and winning, right? And then back to back, which hasn't been done since 2007, which what we just addressed. And you talk about Calhoun. I could have went to UConn.
Is that right?
That was so crazy because I could have went there. That was one of the schools that I could have went to, and I was talking to them, but I didn't end up going there, and I ended up getting cussed out by the assistant coach. But thank God I was there with my father because my father let him have it, right? But but you talk about Kevin Ali. I played against him in the NBA. You talk about Daniel Marshall, and then you go back to that Georgetown, that UConn team with Ray Allen, the Junkyard Dog, Rip Hamilton. They beat us by 30. But man, what they're doing right now, the coach even brought up this morning on Good Morning America with Michael Strahan as far as did I hear three-peat? So I don't see him going anywhere. When you think about Coach Calipari leaving Kentucky, they've been 1-3 for the last couple years, right?
In the tournament, yeah.
Maybe it was time for a change. Those are the type of changes that should happen, opposed to you winning. Stay somewhere.
So let's go back to this because JJ brought this up earlier. Okay, it was brought up the last team to beat Connecticut in the NCAA tournament is New Mexico State. Okay, they lost in 2021 the first round to Maryland. They lost in 2022 to a 12 seed New Mexico State. Yeah. Now, how many fan bases would have said we got to get rid of this guy? And maybe they did, right? And try to run a guy out. Their AD stuck with Dan Hurley, and they've won 2 championships since. Maybe every once in a while you don't run your guy out just because another team that you don't think is good enough beat you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody's going to have their opinion, right? Because who's ever in charge of hiring and firing a coach, it's solely on them, right? But I wouldn't run somebody off. That's the whole nice dynamic of Hurley being in UConn and staying there. And I'm putting emphasis on this because you got to stay somewhere to create some history, right? That's why I stayed here. That's why Dave Bliss stayed here and waited until I left, right? We were trying to create something. Being that young, I didn't even know what I was creating. But being the head coach, you got to know what you're creating, right? And if you're winning, once again, you punch your own ticket. Ask for what you want. And if they don't pay you, then you dip out.
Then you figure out what you got to do. He's Kenny Thomas. We're kicking with Kenny here on the Sports Animal.
How do you sell that vision these days? Stay somewhere and create something.
It depends on the individual. That's a great question.
Well, because with the NIL stuff, like he's saying these days, right? Now with the NCAA is going to pass the unlimited transfer, right? Stay here. NIL, everybody's throwing more money at you, more money. It's different than back when you were doing this.
I totally get it. Obviously, there was no NIL. And when it comes to trying to convince a person to stay somewhere, it comes to the dynamic of the community, the fan base, like the support. Like if you're winning and you're at a small program, that's one thing, right? To where the capacity of the gym is like 5,000, right? But when you're winning and you're here, like at a place like, just saying, not saying anything about Patino or anything, I'm putting that out there right now. When you have 18,000 people, this is the reason why I came to New Mexico and played at UNM, right? And I could have went anywhere. 18,000 people cheering Kennedy, you know what I'm saying? And then that's creating a dynamic. And I had a great 4 years. So you just gotta believe, and I know you gotta think about your family, but if you're winning and you're staying somewhere and kind of putting your feet in the concrete, right? And settling in, yeah, but that's just me.
So, JJ, the game he was talking about, that when they got beat by 30 in Denver by that Connecticut team.
Why are you still bringing that up?
Here, that's where man, we got blued out. That was the day that Tim Lightfoot said to me, man, we got blued out.
Blued out.
That's what he
blued out.
You know he's not with us
I know,
anymore,
the late
right?
Tim Lightfoot. Oh, I really, really, really liked. But after the game, I remember talking to him in the locker room and you in the locker room, and Tim just shook his head. He's like, man, we got blued out. So that's where it comes from. All right, when we come back, you want to talk some NBA?
Yeah, whatever.
We got a week left. Playoffs next week.
Oh, trust me, I know.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
You watch the NBA?
Man, I got this radio segment with you, man. I got to stay on top of my stuff, man.
What's going to happen? And we're looking not only at the top, but kind of towards the matchups at the bottom of the play. The play-in tournament is big. Kenny Thomas is here. We're kicking it with Kenny. Opening drive, Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Glad you're with us on a Tuesday on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal.
Shot.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
A burglary takes place in the United States approximately every 15 seconds. International Protective Service is your answer for commercial and residential security in all of Albuquerque. IPS will work with your monitoring company for fast, reliable response times. You can rest easy knowing you, your family, or your company is watched over by International Protective Service. Call International Protective Service today.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
If you're drunk, blasted, intoxicated, rip, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions.
Drive, Kenny Thomas is here. We got a couple of days left, about a week left in the NBA season, and then we go into the playoffs. What's your biggest storyline as we hit the last few days? Isn't that one cool?
That's so cool.
The last few days of the NBA season. You watching the Kings, the Lakers jockeying for position in the 7, 8, 9 position?
Just the other day, it was like 9-10 Warriors, right? The Kings, and now it's like you got.
Well, right now, so
the
Pelicans are in 7, tied with Phoenix, but Phoenix has a tiebreaker. So right now, Pelicans are 8 back, Sacramento's 9 back, Lakers only half game back of Sacramento, and then Golden State will be in the 10 slot. And I think what a lot of people are seeing, not you necessarily, the people are hoping the Lakers get up to play the Pelicans and Sacramento falls into the 9-10 game. so the Lakers and the Warriors can get into the main draw.
Oh my goodness,
I think
man.
that's what TV wants.
I totally get it. You gotta understand, like, when I was doing NBC Sports last year for the playoffs, right? The Kings were a 3 seed and the Warriors ended up getting in and they ended up playing the Kings, right? And obviously the Warriors won the best of 7. It's one of those things to where I do not want the Kings to play the Warriors. I just don't, because it's one of those things to where they're the Warriors are the Kings killers, right? To a certain extent. And I would love to see the Kings play the Pelicans.
Yeah.
And
winner moves on.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, but the Lakers are playing some great ball right now. It just sucks that my Rockets got eliminated too as well, because they were on.
They're a year away though. They were a year away. Anthony Davis aggravates the eye injury. JJ, you want no part of the Lakers in the first round, do you? If you're Denver, if you're Minnesota,
Lakers want no part of the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're
defending champion,
if you're the defending champions, you're going, okay, we're going to be a 1 or 2 seed. Man, I don't want that in the first round, do I?
Swept them last year.
Yeah, they did. All right.
Lakers better this season?
Yeah, they are. No, look, I would pick Denver. Don't get me wrong. Wouldn't you? Denver over the Lakers?
So here's the thing. Western Conference, you can't avoid anybody. The Sacramento Kings finished last year with 48 wins, and that got them the 3 seed. They could finish with 48 wins this season and be the 7th seed.
Be in the play-in tournament. Yeah.
See, but you got OKC, man. Creeping. I'm just telling you.
All right.
They're going to make some noise in the postseason.
All right. So this is a conversation you and I have, JJ, all the time. When you get into the postseason, what is the value of postseason experience? Because some of them have it, most of them don't, right? And so you look at them and say, okay, what is that? Just a bunch of hyperbole for dudes sitting behind microphones, or is there something to knowing how to play in the postseason?
Okay, put it like this: 82 regular season game, right?
Yeah.
You kind of coast through that, and especially, yeah, that means he's like, oh, no crap, Kenny. But you kind of coast through that, right? And and the best teams usually win. And the crappy teams don't. And postseason, if you've been there multiple times and you've gone all the way to the championship game, it's a whole different dynamic because postseason is way more physical. There's certain things that you just don't get in the postseason,
Like
and
defense?
those guys, defense, man. I don't even know what that is anymore. People are not even really playing that anymore.
You'll see it over the next few
because of all the
months.
points. But I mean, I don't think so. I feel like the teams that are gonna play defense are the ones that have won championships. And is Denver really a great defensive team?
They're
Really?
pretty damn good.
On the offensive end,
They're pretty good when they
really
need to
good?
be, when they clamp down. I mean, what do you think? When they in the playoffs, weren't they good defensively?
Yeah, I think you'll see to close out series, you have to have your moments. There's not a team right now you look at in the NBA and they're winning because of defense right now.
He agreed with me. That a boy JJ. This is an offensive league right now.
I'm not arguing that. What my point is, when you hit the playoffs, I think defense intensifies. Am I way off on that?
It does, but the teams that have been there, I hate to say it, there's a lot of favoritism. The teams that have been
The
there
Lakers.
are the ones that,
The
yes,
Nuggets,
the
the
Nuggets, yes. Those are the ones that have been there and they haven't necessarily won it to a certain extent. You, as an underdog, not being there, have to basically come out and do everything right. You can't have, obviously there's going to be letdowns.
Well,
but
not
you
even an
can't have a lot of
underdog.
them.
Hell, Minnesota won't be an underdog, but they're going to be the team that's not there, right? But they're going to. But let's say Minnesota against the Lakers. Who's getting calls? Karl Anthony Towns or LeBron James or Anthony Davis?
I think it's all four. But I feel like those other
There's only
guys.
three.
No, I mean, well, Gobert.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Dude, the best player in that series could be Anthony Edwards.
See?
Okay.
And he's going to
But
get
who's
calls.
getting the calls?
Anthony Edwards, LeBron, AD, if he actually shows up. And who else with Minnesota?
Karl
that's
Anthony
good.
Towns?
Yes, and then you have the big boy over
Gobert.
there with Reed. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Whoever gets Minnesota don't want to see Minnesota. I'm telling you right now. Or OKC.
Well,
I think to your point, Jeff, Timberwolves are the team that's been there at least. You know, they
got to the
tasted it
second round last year. Yeah.
Anthony Edwards is a superstar,
I
so
agree.
I'm not worried about. I'm buying Minnesota
All right.
as a team that can win multiple series.
Minnesota Golden State
especially
first
Anthony
round. What do you
Edwards.
like? Minnesota Golden State
Minnesota.
first round.
Oh, Minnesota.
Everybody. All right.
Minnesota.
I think they can outlast the Warriors.
Minnesota Lakers first round.
Minnesota.
Okay. I think I agree with you.
Minnesota Kings.
All right.
Minnesota.
So you got the top three in the West. The next three are the Clippers, the Mavs, and Phoenix.
Clippers are always going to unfold, man.
All right. So you don't like them. Best chance to get to the final. Phoenix, Dallas, Clippers.
Phoenix, yes. Phoenix is a slippery slope right there because if Bill can stay healthy and with the great KD and a Booker's just going to be Booker, man.
I agree.
But you got to think about the big boy in the middle. That was a great ad. I forgot his
What
name.
you've been
but
saying,
it's a
Nurkic?
huge ad.
Yeah, Nurkic.
Huge ad because he can step out on the perimeter and he can play inside.
Yeah, JJ, you've been all over Nurkic.
Well, it's perfect. It's a guy that he doesn't. Aiton came in and he was supposed to be a franchise player, and so he had a different dynamic around him. Nurkic understands he is a starting center, a role-playing big on a good basketball team. And when you talk about the postseason right now, if you're saying no one's playing defense, then you have to say the Dallas Mavericks are
Because they'll just
that
run up
team.
and down and score.
Because Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving have won 14 over the last 16 games.
Dude, he shoots off the back or the freaking scoreboard.
Luka Doncic
Yeah.
is the closest thing to Nikola Jokic right now in terms of unstoppable presence on the basketball court.
And then if you get what's his name? Porzingis? I can't say his name.
Porzingis?
Yeah, if he shows up.
The Celtics?
I think who's Dallas's big boy?
They have a rotation. They don't really have. They have Derek Lively, a rookie. They play from Duke. PJ Washington. They acquired him from the Hornets.
Yeah, you were thinking
Powell's still
Porzingis
there.
was there, and they
Yeah,
traded him
he
the
was.
offseason of the Celtics.
Yeah, he never shows up.
Tell you what, with the Celtics, he's been nice. He's been a great piece with the Celtics.
Yeah, because there's no pressure.
Exactly right. He doesn't have to be the number one. He can be the number three there.
Yeah, the number 4 too, probably,
Yeah.
if you want to go that deep.
All right, in the East, is it all Boston or? I mean, I don't understand Milwaukee, dude, and I don't know where you are on Doc Rivers. I should know where you are on Doc Rivers, and I will here in a minute. But I look at Milwaukee and they're dropping games. They lose to Toronto. They lose to Detroit. You're going, what is going on? They're too damn good to be losing. The sneaky one's Orlando. I know you like Orlando a lot, but I mean, can Milwaukee give them a run? And with Embiid back with Philly, are they a factor?
Well, it's been the same consistent thing when it comes to my Sixers, right? When Joel, he's there, he's not there. It's gonna be interesting to see how far they can go. I don't see them getting past like the second or third round. I just don't. But when you think about Milwaukee just had a meeting like with the veterans and the coach, right, with Doc, and they're trying to figure it out. But you got Dame over there. I feel like Milwaukee's going to show up because they've been there. And I feel like they're trying to share the ball probably way too much because they have so many guys that can score. And then people get cold, right? Because everybody's not being able to be involved. There's only one ball. But I really like, I would have to say Orlando. Orlando's going to be nice.
I like Milwaukee if they, I mean, I got Giannis, I got Dame, then I got Chris Middleton. I
Lopez.
They should be good, shouldn't they?
Yeah, because they've been there before. And then once again, it goes back to what I said. It's postseason. They've been there, and they know how to get there, and they won championship. Dame hasn't.
All right. We'll get together on Friday. The Masters will be going.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Hey, they don't have Tiger Woods making the cut.
Who's they? The odds makers?
Yeah, the odds. I got him making the cut. Watch this.
All right.
Watch this.
All right. So Kenny called making the cut. I think that's fair. He's fresh. Do you have him finishing the tournament, or does he limp off the court on Saturday?
Oh, my God. He will finish. He's going to make the cut, and he's going to finish.
All right. Kenny will be back with us on Friday.
It's the new trend. Tiger makes the cut
and then
withdraws on Saturday.
And then withdraws.
Come on, man. Can we get to Sunday to where he can at least wear the red?
Maybe.
Come on, man. Maybe. But you gotta.
Maybe.
Dude, why doesn't Tiger play live golf? It's perfect.
Oh, you kidding me?
3 rounds. Yeah, it's only 3 rounds.
It's already coming. You know that partnership is coming. They already started it.
John Rahm wants to go to the full 72 holes.
See, but get this though.
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair that the guys that crossed over to the live golf get paid, and then the new guys that come over don't.
They cut the deal, man. They took the risk and they went over and took the risk and took the money.
Well, the Saudis got all the money.
I know they do. And now they're going to merge, and there's going to be dudes going, I should have taken the $200 million when they. Because how do you go chase down $200 million?
Oh my God!
You don't.
See, take the money. Yeah. Do not stay and be loyal.
Well,
do not build something. Take the money.
Go tell Danny Hurley.
No. See, I didn't say that.
Danny Hurley?
See, I didn't say that.
Go take the Saudi money.
Give me my check.
I just want the guys to get theirs from the PGA Tour. I didn't say take the money.
The purses are going to come up. Sure. Kenny will be here on Friday. He'll be with TJ on Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock over on News Radio KKOB. It'll be wine hour. He'll be talking about his wine and over on the big stage. I mean, that's when you get up to the big leagues. They stole D-Steve from us. Now they're taking.
I'm sorry to me. This is family over here. This is the big side to me.
This is it's just you.
Hey, KT Legacy Wines.
3 of us.
KT Legacy Wines are in Albertsons right now, all the way up in Taos and Santa Fe, and even here in Albuquerque.
Go drink them and enjoy it. We'll see you on Friday.
Appreciate you, my guys.
He is the great Kenny Thomas. This is Kicking It with Kenny on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the sports animal.
Trevor. Shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman! Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet?
Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight. Boom! Boom!
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up.
Okay.
Thank you.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving.
What did he say? He shows up late and plays incredible golf. But he is into the Masters. Bold prediction: Tiger will make the cut, said Kenny Thomas. 505-246-0610. Come on in. 888-922-0610. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Hey, JJ, there's I don't want to say a pandemic. There's a trend in baseball. Major league pitching injuries are on the rise. And why is it? Like, it's been bad this week. You lost all kinds of guys this week. So last season, 34.2% of pitchers to appear in a major league game, and I'm not going to tell you when on the injury list, 34.2% had Tommy John surgery at some point in their past. And the number was 34% in 2022, so like 30% and rising. And I don't understand it. And there's a lot of reasons that are being bantied about that as guys are coming up, they're specialized, that they're throwing harder because you're getting max effort. So if you're only pitching the sixth inning or you only pitch the seventh, you're throwing so much harder. And it makes no sense to me. And I need a little help, because I think back to the day, and I'm not looking to be back in my day guy, but guys used to throw 8 innings or throw complete games, and they would throw on 3 days rest when there was a 4-day rotation. And it seems like we're having way, way, way more injuries, and they're pitching way, way less innings. So guys, now it's a 5-man rotation. So you're pitching every 6th day, because there's a day off usually. You're pitching 5, maybe 6 innings. And the amount of injuries and surgeries are up. And I honestly, for the life of me, am struggling understanding it. Do you get it?
So I was watching an interview with Tyler Glasnow, former Tampa Bay Rays pitcher, now with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah.
And he was going off on this. And I think that there's not one specific thing that you can immediately point to and say this is a difference. But he pointed out it's not necessarily velocity, it's grip of the baseball. And for a pitcher, that is everything. It's being able to hold the baseball. There's a reason they were using spider tack. Yes, it was because of the spin rate, but it also allows you not to over grip the baseball. And it was something I never thought about. He said with
So you're gripping it
the
tighter
new baseballs,
now? Yeah.
he says that every pitch you throw, it's like you're doing a forearm workout.
Really?
Because you have to hold it so hard to get any spin off the baseball, like any momentum of it. So if you just think about that right now, like squeeze something.
Yeah,
and
so
the pressure
feel
that
everything
comes
in your
down.
arm. Yeah.
And he said that he believes that that is one of the contributing factors is the slick baseballs to where it's not just, hey, we want to go out there and create spin. It's just, being able to throw the baseball. And one of the reasons why it makes sense is, yeah, the velocity might be up for more guys now, but back in the day, they were putting everything on the baseball. They weren't checking balls regularly. Dudes were putting on whatever they wanted to do to hold it. And that is something I did not think of. And he said, grip is a problem. And so you're overthrowing every single pitch right now.
This is Glasnow in 2021. When they had the substance crackdown, it says, quote, I just threw 80-something pitches. And you just told me I can't use anything. I have to change everything. I truly believe 100% that's why I got hurt. I'm frustrated Major League Baseball doesn't understand. You can't just tell us to use nothing. It's crazy. End quote. Now, most of us are sitting there going, dude, I mean, it's crazy. You don't put stuff on the baseball. But I guess if you came up that way, so do you think if there's a crackdown now, JJ, is this something that's how they came up? And so adjusting to not using the spider tack or whatever it is causing them injuries. So if you come up not using anything, just throwing a naked baseball, basically, will injuries come down?
I think a lot of it, too, is just an element of... I'm trying to find stats on what the average velocity is in baseball. Because something had to have changed to where you can't have dudes that were throwing, as you just said, like complete games, it felt like every other day, and not hurting themselves. Now, all of a sudden, no one can do that. So what is the change in it?
And it's hard for me to think that back in the day, they were just totally doctoring. Everybody was just doctoring the baseball. I'm not telling you they didn't use anything. I'm just...
100% they were.
So you think they were totally doctoring the baseball?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't spider tack, but I'm sure to me, you know what it sounds a lot like?
Huh.
The PSI of a football. Like, this is the way it feels. This is the way I want it to feel.
Okay, I can live with that. It's interesting because right after, in the aftermath in 2021, injuries didn't spike immediately. Glasnow said his elbow hadn't been fully healthy since 2019, so that's not necessarily why he got hurt. But pitchers use a foreign substance, they generate spin, movement, and so by the textbook, that's cheating, and Major League Baseball got rid of it. Boy, okay. I just go back to the use, and I get that, so that makes sense to me. If you're gripping a baseball harder and throwing it, I could feel it in my elbow. Just make a fist, right, and clench it harder.
And some of it too is there's a hyper focus on pitchers. So I'm sure there were a lot of dudes back in the day pitching through things that you're not pitching through now. That were just like, yeah, I'm a pitcher, my elbow hurts, whatever.
Maybe. But I also believe that preventive workouts, meaning not just medicine, not reactive, not the surgeries, not all that, but fitness is better now than it was when dudes were throwing 8-9 innings a game.
Was it? Oh, I saw a clip from Ozzie Guillen, former White Sox manager.
Yeah,
and he's on the White Sox television network, whatever. I forget the exact sports network it is. And they were talking about baseball injuries, and he's like, you know what? I never saw a fat dude pull his fat. He's like, the dudes that played every day, man, they would eat 3 cheeseburgers, drink 12 Budweisers, go out there and play. Yeah. I never heard of anyone pulling their fat. I'm like, that is just funny.
It's
That's the most baseball thing ever.
But all these guys who are yoked and all these muscles, they pop a muscle. The fat guys don't pull their fat. Yeah, they play. It's just, to your point, maybe injuries were as much then just played through because they had to, because they'd lose their job. Now you got guaranteed money, and you can, I mean, Steven Strasburg made a lot of money over a lot of years and had a lot of injuries.
So if you look from 2008 to 2022, I'm on Fangraphs right now, just a fantastic analytical site for baseball. The average four-seam fastball velocity, it was just a tick over 91 miles per hour for starters in 2008. 2022, it was just under 93 miles per hour.
So is part of that because you don't have to pace yourself as much? So dude comes in, you're talking about starters. So back then, a quality start was considered 7 innings, three runs or less. Now it's 5 innings, right?
No, still 6.
Is it 6?
6 innings.
All right, but it's still a full inning less. And most of the time, I mean, guys aren't going 6 innings. They're going 5 1/3. And then you bring in your specialist. You got your 6th inning guy who's just unleashing everything he's got because he knows he's going to face 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 batters. Then you bring in your 7th inning guy, 8th inning guy, and they all unload. Right? There is no finesse anymore in pitching. There's no. Where's your Greg Maddux now?
Playing independent baseball.
See? How hard can I throw it? I'm going to throw it by you. I've been watching this a lot, man. I don't understand it, and the grip thing helps me. It does. Spider tack. But the numbers are startling. 34% had Tommy John surgery. Not 50% are on the DL or the IL now. But never mind the injury.
And like dudes are, and it's just part of what they're doing. They're just trying to throw harder every single year. You look at this in 2022, just Shohei Ohtani. Everything he was throwing about 95.6 on average. Next season, 97.6.
And now he's a DH. I mean, now he's not playing.
Dudes are just trying to throw harder and harder.
All right, we'll wrap it up when we come back. Everything you got to know as you go through your Tuesday. Still time to get in at 505-246-0610 on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. Stephon Diggs has already begun working out with his new quarterback, C.J. Stroud.
In New Mexico for over 50 years.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Cross-Camara here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We here at Clark's Pet Emporium welcome you to bring in your pets. We know that having your pet with you makes the experience of shopping for them even better. And we welcome you to bring your kids also. Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, I'm Steve Stucker here for Dr. Robert Melendez and the Juliet Eye Institute. You may remember me like this, but no more. The glasses are gone. I tossed them months ago because of a brand new procedure from Dr. Melendez known as RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. The latest technology, the best eyesight I've ever had in my life, and you can check it out by clicking on the link in the description right here.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
It's up next at 10 on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
All right, now you turn your attention to the Masters and the NBA, huh? College basketball's over. What do you got to know as you go through your day? What's everybody going to be talking about? It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. UConn beat Purdue last night, 75-60, in the final of the NCAA Men's Championship. Tristan Newton was your MVP. He scored 20 points for the winners, who repeated. UConn rolled through it. They've run their last 12 NCAA tournament games, and they are a repeat champion. Zach Edey had 37 points and 10 rebounds in defeat for the Boilermakers, 37 out of their 60, JJ, which is insane. 6th championship in 25 years for the Huskies, who were the best program in college basketball.
They're the standard.
They are now the standard.
They are in that conversation. Anytime you talk about college basketball and you're like, oh, the Blue Bloods, you can have the history. We can talk about UCLA, Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. UConn better be one of those names out your mouth.
Well, they are now. They are now. And if you want to talk to me about history, first of all, you better put how many when we talk about the Kansas, the UCLAs, I guess Kansas, UCLA, Carolina, Duke, do they all have more than 6 championships? I know UCLA does. I'm going to guess Kansas does. I'm going to guess Kentucky does.
Mm-hmm. But for UCLA,
yeah,
the last one,
1995.
Yeah.
No, yeah, 95. How many? Do you have a list of how many everybody's got?
So Duke has 3 since 2000. So
Okay.
Kind of looking. So if you're going to when Connecticut,
So what do they have? 4
started,
total?
So in this last era, Florida got knocked off 2 back-to-back.
Yeah.
You have Maryland, Syracuse. North Carolina has 3. So North Carolina and Duke are right there. But then Connecticut, man.
Oh, I just, they're it, man.
Villanova's 2.
All right, so here, the only other programs to win more than 6, UCLA has 11, Kentucky has 8, Carolina has 6. They are as blue of a blood as you get. How come all the Blue Bloods are blue, by the way? Like, they really are. Kansas, Kentucky, Carolina, UCLA, Duke.
So,
how come Connecticut?
About that cherry and silver.
I mean, it's kind of, I don't even know where the term blue blood comes from. I don't. But when you talk about blue bloods in basketball, it's UCLA at 11, Kentucky at 8, North Carolina, Connecticut, Duke. They're all freaking blue.
And if you won multiple titles in this last era, 25, 26 years, Florida, Villanova, blue.
It's kind of crazy. There's a short list of teams with multiple championships. University of San Francisco's on there, by the way. But I mean, the reddest of blue bloods is Indiana. And how long has it been since Indiana won it? That's crazy. UCLA 11, Kentucky 8, Connecticut 6, Carolina 6, Duke 5, Indiana 5, Kansas 4. Villanova 3. So they're as blue as a blue blood gets. And they're it for now. I mean, they are now. I didn't know that I knew that list. That's really, really good. It's really, really good. The women's game, South Carolina, Iowa. Will the men's game outdraw when the numbers come out today? I'm going to guess the women's number is going to be bigger. 18.7 million people watch that game.
And that was great. It's Sunday afternoon.
Max to 24 million. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
And so the banter is going to be, see, the women's game is more popular. Please do not overreact to the flow of one.
Yeah, it's just good basketball.
Well,
it was a great weekend for college athletics. College basketball needed this.
Yeah.
They just needed a moment of, hey, let's just watch the good players be good.
And I think that's okay. But nobody's, I promise you, nobody's going to let it rest at that. And so the screaming heads are going to tell you that as women's basketball surpassed men's basketball in popularity. Well, the numbers tell you.
What it tells you is it should be a part of your conversation in March.
Well,
like, give it its respect at that time of year.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. And it tells you that superstars attract. Right? The women's game, this tournament, and they were fortunate enough to have that team continue, had one of the GOATs in the history of the game. A transcending person that crossed from sports to news. Dude, what on Sunday night, I don't remember if it was NBC or CBS, they were the lead story on the nightly news. Sunday night, the national nightly news. That was the lead story. So when that's crossing over, and that was the whole way, yeah, they had a transcending, but don't overreact to the flow of one on this one. Okay, you're 1 year they beat them, and what to your point, what it tells you is women's sports come a long way, and people do care. Now, all season long, did women's basketball outdraw men's basketball? It did not. Their numbers were good. Their numbers were encouraging. Their numbers were strong. People more and more watched women's basketball. I think that's wonderful for their game.
That's a college basketball issue.
Yeah, I think that's right.
All season long.
And it's going to be interesting. How does the portal affect the women's game? Well, ask Mike Bradbury.
The same.
Yeah. Right? I mean, it's the same way.
I think it's over 50 of a team's leading scorers enter the transfer portal.
How many?
It's over 50 now. Like a team's leading scorer left and entered the portal. On the women's side, it's over 1,000 players in the women's transfer portal. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah. All right. This is going to get more traction as we go through Masters Week. John Rahm's continuing to talk, and now he's on Live. It almost feels like John Rahm took his money, went to Live, got his $300 million, but now wants to unify everything, come back to the PGA Tour with $300 million in his pocket.
Is playing into the hands of the PIF, the Saudis. This is what they wanted to do. They wanted to cause division, blow it up, and then be able to put it back together with them owning everything.
Well, yes. And he hopes that his move to leave the PGA for Live is going to expedite the process of bringing it all back together. Meanwhile, he got $300 million. Quote, I understood my position. Yes, I understood that it could be a step towards some kind of an agreement. Unfortunately, it's not up to me. I still did what I thought was best for myself. I've had a lot of fun playing in those events. It's been fun to be part of a team. Okay.
Dude, this is like blowing up a building and then coming back to town and saying, hey, my construction crew can rebuild
100%.
this. We'll just pay us the money and we'll put this back together.
I mean, good for him and good business. And I mean, he waited it out and got to play on the PGA Tour and then went over and took $300 million. And now
take the money and run
back. Take the money and run back to where you're right. I mean, literally, it God bless him. I mean, if he pulls this off, and he's going to. He'll be at the Masters. He's the defending champion. It's insane. Thanks to Charlie Min, the filmmaker, was with us today. His movie is Nightmare. Diego Sanchez. It comes out on the 19th. It's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be on theaters locally. You can go see that. Kenny Thomas was with us as well. Jim Rome Show is next. That's the first day I've gotten them both in. by the way. Throwing them in the garbage can. Buckets. Jim Rome Show is next. Heard with Colin Cowers after that. Two Men On is here today at 4, and then we're back tomorrow with award-winning radio starting at 7 a.m. Ice Domes baseball tonight against Sugarland here on the Sports Animal. Adrian looks great on the TV side. Great job, JJ. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind and loving and caring and sharing, and we'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you.
I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-95